ahead. Good morning. Welcome to the June 16th, 2026 Rocky Mountain House Town Council. First order of business is the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions to today's agenda, please? Councillor Kalin.
I'd like to make a motion to move the agenda as presented.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Adoption of the previous minutes. They were sent to us. Does anyone have anything that was missed or wish to add? I get a motion to accept. Councillor Sinclair.
I'll make the motion to accept the previous council minutes as presented.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Today we have no delegation business. Our new business, 7.1, emergency water main replacement on Highway 752. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. So before you is the emergency water main replacement for Highway 752. As you may or may not know, we've had a number of breaks along this section of 752, both this year and for portions of last year. In doing the repairs, we've also noted that the condition of the pipe is fairly lousy. It's a rotten pipe. It's corroded almost completely through. So whenever we were doing these repairs, we would, the primary method of repair for a lot of these is to put on a repair clamp, you know, that sort of covers the hole. We'd repressurize it, and then our trench would fill with water from immediately downstream because, you know, we're subjecting the pipe to sort of a shock load every time we test it. And so we noticed this with the repairs. So it was already our intention to move this project to next year and the other things, because it is in our 10-year plan, but we were going to accelerate to 2027. With the recent number of repairs and the frequency that we're seeing them and just the general condition of the pipe, we'd like to accelerate that to this year because, again, we're having to go there a fair bit and it's starting to impact our operations and whatnot. And the number of repairs we expect on a pipe as it's failing is sort of exponential. Once, you know, you get a pipe, one break, and it might be good for, you know, another 5 or 10 years before you see another break. But once you start seeing repeated breaks almost annually, you're going to start seeing that exponential increase in the water breaks. So we've gone through and we've got estimates and we've made arrangements to sort of have this work done. And again, so we've got, we've received the quotes for all of that sort of stuff. So we're before council sort of with that information. Again, the pipe's from 1981, and again, it's the primary method of failure is corrosion. And yeah, if there's any questions or comments, I'm happy to answer them rather than just read from the paper that you've probably already read.
Sure. Councillor Shippold.
There's a couple of businesses that would be interrupted in that period of time. And
Yes.
so if we approve this, I guess doing due diligence and giving businesses enough time to work around situations, how do you perceive the timeline in looking after that?
So we've already spoken to both of those businesses that are operational. They're on the map though. Well, the gas station is currently closed, so that's not of a concern. The second business is run by a company, and the only facility they have there is the washroom. And in speaking to them, they're okay being without their washroom for a period of time. So that one's fairly neglected because this is a secondary warehouse for that business. The northernmost one, they do have a coffee maker and they do use some water for like a testing bench for some of their pipe fittings and whatnot. So our intention is to provide them with a temporary water service. There's a hydrant in the nearby area that we can run through the lane and protect that way. But again, that is part of this contract. So we've already spoken to the businesses, and again, they're not heavy water users. They can be without water for short durations, and the temporary services shouldn't pose a problem. The businesses don't have outsized bibs, so we've included the cost for sort of running the water line in the one case underneath their garage door. So yes, we've spoken to the businesses and everything else just because, again, that's how we do that. So yeah.
Anything further?
I do.
Oh, pardon me, Councillor Stalker.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I was wondering, Sean, are we connecting on to similar pipe on both ends and,
So, yes and no. So to the south is a portion of pipe that was replaced by the province as part of their 752 reconstruction and redoing that culvert underneath there. So they put HDPE pipe, it's a different type of pipe used for directional boring, so they put that section in. So we're connecting two new pipe. To the north, there's the railway crossing. It's unlikely we'll be able to reconstruct or trench through the railway, so that we're stopping there. However, we're also looking at the potential of relining that portion, maybe potentially while this is opening, because it's also an opportunity. Hey, we're south of the tracks and we're have it open, and we really don't want to mess with CN because getting the approvals and everything else is very time consuming and it's very expensive and it'll likely require casing. So we're looking at potentially relining that portion of it. And then to the north is, well, at some future date. So that's currently our intention is with that. So it connects to new infrastructure on the south, and to the north, we're looking at a different sort of repair due to the railway tracks. And we're also sinking we've already sunk a valve up at the north one. So again, we can isolate this section. So when we have problems to the north or whatever else, this won't be impacted and we can still feed this area.
Counselor Stocker.
thank you. Yeah, excellent. That strategy here, it sounds like you're way out in front of it, so that's, I mean, especially if you can line it going north and get on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah, it might
that
require
really
a
supports.
secondary hole on the north end of the track, because
Yeah.
some inline repairs require opening both ends, so we're trying to look and getting quotes and seeing what's available in central Alberta. So,
That's why you're an engineer and you're out in front of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Counselor Shipple.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. So you mentioned lining under the railway track.
yeah.
How about lining the whole thing versus digging up and replacing? Is that a possibility or not?
So we did look at that, and again, the cost for that, and again, with the services, again, there's emerging technologies for lining those things and then boring out the services, but right now with what's available here from the local contractors, and I mean in Alberta, we're not seeing a whole lot of that yet. I see that coming, but because of those businesses and the services and whatnot, it's more cost effective for us to open trench. Whereas that section that has no services underneath the railway track, there's the opportunity there. There's some outside considerations that make that a little bit more feasible. I can see that math changing in 5 or 10 years, but yeah, we're not
Counselor Shippo.
there yet.
Sorry, Mayor Boniface, I'm a bit confused. We can line a portion of it, we can't line another portion of it.
Yes, because where there's services that connect to it, we have to basically excavate where the services are in order to, because we can't reline where there's services, because it would, the difference between a service and a hole to when you're relining the pipe is fairly small. There's some technologies coming out with little robots that can do that, but we don't have access to that here. I'm looking at a research out of the state, so I'm hoping that eventually comes here, but we're not there yet, able to reline that. So, the future, hopefully, if everything's changing. Actually, there's a lot of change in the utilities right now, but again, it's,
Go ahead, Counselor Shipple.
I'm not sure I'm any wiser. Sorry, I guess if we can line a portion of it,
yep,
and we can dig a couple of, anywhere where there's somebody hooking into it, and if we've lined it, we can hook in there. I guess excavation, if we look at 2 or 3 excavations versus the whole thing,
yeah.
compaction, asphalt, all the rest that comes with that process.
And that is our because the proposed repair isn't a complete open trench. We're dragging in a new directional bore line because there is that section with no services, and that's the preferred repair as opposed to relining at this point, just because we get a new pipe and it's easier for us to install services on the new pipe. Right, so we're getting a new, rather than a retrofitted lined pipe that you still have to excavate at both ends with the relining, and you still have to do the same excavation. So relining doesn't really save us a whole lot, and you don't get as good of a product. The difference is under the railways, there's additional, if it goes under the railway, it will require casing and all those other approvals. That makes that the more cost-effective repair for what we're getting.
Counselor Stalker.
I didn't notice, and maybe I missed it in the package. We're only closing that, what would be the west side of the road, where the
The
poles?
water, yeah, is
Oh, okay, good.
is
So
primarily on the west side, yeah.
There'll be
There
still
may be times
traffic
when the
flow.
full thing is closed, and I don't wanna, it's up to the contractor when they do the site, how much, where that water line is, you know, we can't have just a fence and then a trench, because if a car goes through that, there needs to actually be sufficient protection, so I wanna be careful in what I say, I don't wanna promise that, yeah, there's gonna be no disruption to the road, or we've had bad luck with one-way streets in Rocky and low compliance rates. People see a partially open road, so I really want to watch my language. I don't want to say that, yeah, we're going to do a one-way or anything else, because we've tried that even on 752 specifically, and we had a very low compliance rate, I'll say, with it, and we ended up having to close it down just for safety.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Mr. Kraus?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Sean, maybe just for clarification, we are boring this line,
Correct, yeah,
and then we'll be just digging in where the services are.
correct. And
So
either
lining it, it's the same, it'd be the same, if we lined it, we'd be still doing the same digging, but we are directionally boring the main in.
correct. And our two
And
holes.
abandoning the existing main. We're going a little higher, correct?
Correct, yeah, because the existing line is also deep, which makes those holes deeper and more expensive to dig. So when we bring in the new line, we're hoping any repairs we need in 50 years, not that that matters, will be less expensive, and everything else is part of it. And, right, because there's no need to dig that down for a water line, because we make water flow uphill for the water. And so, yeah, it's all part of it.
Thank
And
you.
we are hoping the way the water line goes, we are hoping most of our holes are far off to the west, so we're trying to, where we've placed our holes and whatnot, just try and leave the road open. I just don't want to promise that to council and you say, oh yeah, the road will be open, and then
Right,
for whatever reason, it's not.
thank you. Counselor Musgrave?
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. So you're going to get this pipe in the ground considerably higher than the previous one. Do you anticipate any issues with that? 10 feet rather than 16 feet?
No, not really, because again, we're pulling in new services as well with it, which we would have to do anyways, and so we'll have to tie back down the services to them. The sanitary is also really deep there, so we're not worried. Sometimes when you change the elevation of the water, you'll end up where the services interfere, but we're not gonna have that issue, because again, the sanitary in that area is so deep as well, so.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? So the ask is for $450,000 to replace the water line. Would somebody like to make that motion, please? Counselor Boniface?
Make the motion. The recommended action, is that what you want? Is that what? Okay, I'm sorry. Be it resolved that the council approves the expenditure of up to $450,000 for the, is that, no.
Replacement.
Okay, for the replacement of the water main on Highway 752, with the funds coming from the infrastructure and water reserves.
Okay, the motion is on the table. Any further? Counselor Shipple?
Just one question. Is this engineered, or are we just putting it in?
So, no, there's not an independent engineer on this one, mainly because we're not changing the system as a whole. Like, the replacement system is the same size pipe with all the same things. We're not worried about grades or elevations, because again, it's not a gravity-fed system like the sanitary or some of our other projects, so it's fairly straightforward, well within the realm of, Paderni's or any of the other local contractors that are able to do this. An engineer would, again, he can give us a stamp drawing, but it doesn't actually fundamentally change the project, and it's not required for our water distribution licenses or any of our certifications of a project of this scope.
Counselor Boniface? You have one?
No.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Our next item is 7.2, weed inspector appointments. Mr. Kraus?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So under the Alberta Weeds Act, each municipality is required to appoint weed inspectors. And traditionally, we always work with Clearwater County because they have a certified weed inspector and they have students working underneath them, or summer staff, I guess, shouldn't say students. And so part of our exchange that we do with Clearwater County administratively, where we share or help each other out in services, they supply or the weed inspector to us at no charge. So to meet legislation, we just need to appoint these weed inspectors, and they will come in on our request or complaint for weed inspection.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Krebs concerning this matter? Councillor Stalker.
Yeah, I will make the resolution. Be it resolved that council appoints Clearwater County Agriculture and Community Services staff as weed inspectors under the Alberta Weed Control Act. Casey McKenzie, Cassidy McDonald, Dakota Dixon, Abigail Morrish, Jill Longacre, I guess, and Ryland Fisher.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Thank you. Our next one is the mini ball diamond. Councillor Kalen.
At this time, I just want to declare that I am the president of Rocky Minor Ball. I will participate in conversation, but remove myself from voting.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, all right. As Kalen sort of alluded to, the Rocky Minor Ball Association has been working with the town of Rocky Mountain House to develop a small mini diamond to support the under 9 and younger players. The proposed diamond will provide an age-appropriate space for games and practices. We're freeing up larger diamonds for the older age groups, just sort of improving the overall facility use and scheduling flexibility. There's adequate space at the existing ball diamonds to accommodate one of these mini diamonds, and yeah, and so again, Rocky Minor Ball Association has consistently worked with the town in investing their funds to help improve the fields. As part of this collaborative project, the association has allocated funding towards the development of a mini diamond. There is a picture as well as the cost breakdowns for it. For that, and again, the location is, there used to be a small playground that is no longer there at that location. So it's right next to the parking and washrooms for the smaller kids, and yeah, I think it would be, yeah. So that's our currently proposed spot for the mini ball diamond. So if there's questions or concerns.
Councillor Stalker.
Thank you, Mayor Bonifast. I just had one concern about foul balls coming off the main diamond. Is there any
Yep.
safety concern there, or
So we've looked at that. So the backstop for the ball diamond, for the diagonal portion is the wide portion, will have a taller fence behind it. Also, there is the proposed dugouts on the north and west sides there, and those are backed. So they provide, I'm not going to say perfect shielding from those, but again, significant. Also, in talking with the user groups and the ball association, it is sort of, identified that, hey, the younger teams, when they're all playing together, the younger teams would be playing on this ball diamond as opposed to the heavier hitters, especially if there's minor things going on this. So there is an acknowledgement of scheduling and everything else to try and alleviate that. Again, just because the most expensive part of this is the fencing. So putting a really tall, high fence there it complicates maintenance, and it's also quite costly. Caitlin might be able to speak to more on some of those because he was in more of those
There's also a
conversations.
tree adjacent, a large spruce tree that will protect that mini diamond from Diamond 1. The other thing and scheduling is the biggest piece, is we facilitate 256 kids down there, and we have 120 of them are under 9. They play on fields that are 230 feet deep. With this field, this would give an opportunity for kids to play on a size adequate field. Perhaps now little Timmy can maybe actually put one over the fence. And then our U11 group would play on Diamond 1, which is the one that is adjacent and the foul balls come from. A U11 kid will hit 120 feet, but certainly not the 230 feet that is between these two spaces.
And when you stand there, there's also the dugouts for Ball Diamond 1 and whatnot. And when you look there, it's a fairly narrow window between them, or they'd have to hit sort of a pop fly up high over it. So it's, you know, it's mitigated through the scheduling and the existing infrastructure there. And again, it's part of it.
Any further questions? Councillor Muska.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any questions. I just want to say that I really like this idea. I like the fact that it's a collaboration between the Councillor Kalin's organization there and the town. There's not a huge cost to it, and it's very doable, so I'm in favor.
Councillor Boniface.
I'd like to make the resolution.
Yes, please.
May it be resolved that council amends the 2026 budget, capital budget for the construction of a mini diamond with 13,000 coming from the infrastructure life cycle reserves, so it may be constructed in 2026 and utilized in the 2027 season.
Thank you. Any final discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next item is enumeration.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So before you is an RFD for our SDB, that board that's been just recently formed. So the subdivision and appeal boards are Alberta's primary municipal appeal bodies for land use decisions. They operate under strict rules that come out of the Municipal Government Act. So this board is significantly different from any other town board due to the following reasons. Their purpose is to decide disputes and apply legislation to specific cases. How they work, very much like a court. They look at evidence and facts and they base their decision on that. Authority, they can overrule a development permit, they can add conditions, or they can completely deny the development permit. So municipalities must follow tight deadlines, ensure procedural fairness, and maintain independent, properly trained boards. So an appeal could be a development permit, a stop order, subdivision decision, though some fall under provincial jurisdictions instead. So, bless you. Missing deadlines or failing to meet fairness requirements can expose decisions to legal challenges. So strong bylaws, clear processes, and ongoing training are essential for reducing risk and ensuring compliant defensive outcomes. So paying subdivision and development appeal board members compensates them for the significant time, responsibility, and expertise they bring to resolving local land use disputes. This pay ensures fair, independent community planning without leaving members out of pocket. So I've listed some of the other reasons. So extensive training. Every member of an SDA board has to do training that's certified, and it comes with a certificate, and it has to be updated a minimum every 3 years. Quasi-judicial duties. So these members act like judges. They examine the evidence, they listen to the builders, neighbors, and town planners, and apply law to resolve disputes. The board must give all affected people an equal chance to present evidence and share their concerns. Hearings are open to the public and follow strict legal procedures. Significant time commitment. Hearings can take hours or even entire days. After the hearing, members must spend additional time deliberating privately and drafting formal written decisions within short statutory deadlines. And I put often 15 days, but it's 15 days. Conflict of interest rules. SDB members are independent public members. They cannot be municipal employees. Compensation encourages qualified residents to serve on the board. These members carry the responsibility to make fair, unbiased decisions and their decisions still can be appealed to the Alberta Court of Appeal.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Councilor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. I just need some clarification to Ms. Breeze. Under financial, it says this is broken down as follows for 3 members. At the last council meeting, we appointed 3 members. There were 3 that were on it, that's 6, and there's room for 1 more. So is it not 7 members?
So if we have a meeting, absolutely, sorry, through the mayor, if we have a meeting, the first initial meeting will be an organization meeting, all 7 members will be in attendance, or 6 as we have it right now. And that first meeting, they go through the bylaw and this, appoint a chair and a vice chair. But for a hearing, the bylaw states we need a minimum of 3 members. So that's why broken down, an average SDAB hearing would be 3 members. Sometimes they get a lot more complicated and they might need more members, but your typical hearing is 3. So that's what I'd base this on.
Okay, thank you to Ms. Breeze. It could be all 7, though?
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. Okay, thank you.
Councilor Shipple.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. So do we have something that outlines how many members we have? And now we're doing a second policy which covers the wages. Could those 2 policies be the same? Could they be one versus having 2 policies regarding SDAB? So I noticed the City of Edmonton has combined theirs into one. And I question, do we need, like, how do we have a board and we have a policy around that, or a bylaw? Can they be one of the same versus 2? And secondly, should this have the length of term involved in it as well? I'm just concerned that we have a couple documents floating around about this, so just looking for some direction on that if I could.
So, Mayor, to the Deputy Mayor, so currently we have an SDAB bylaw, which we're required to have under the MGA, which basically establishes the board and all that. And in that bylaw, it says they will be paid in accordance to a policy of council. So that's why a policy for this. If it is written into the bylaw, and it can be, if those fees change, then council needs to do amending bylaw versus amending a policy. So, so the answer is yes, but if it's in the bylaw and if it's changed, it's going to take council 3 readings, where if it's a policy, it's just 1 resolution. It's council's preference, but we could bring, if council wants in the bylaw, then we would have to bring back the bylaw, these fees inserted in it.
I guess where I'm at is I find it less complicated if everything's in 1 document versus 2. The 3 reading, giving it the 3 readings is a formality. We do that regularly. I guess where I'm at is, along with the wage comes the term. And so when you have 2 different documents, does it make sense? I mean, if this is something more substantial, I agree that SDAB is a, they have judicial powers. But they don't meet a lot. It's nothing major. So tidying it up and putting 1 document in place versus having 2 floating around, and we're in the era of reducing red tape and documents, it may make more sense to draw it all together. I just toss that out there to my fellow councillors. I would prefer having 1 document redoing the bylaw and coordinating that together.
Council, any concerns, questions, comments? Councilor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. To administration. Do you foresee any issues putting these together other than the fact that it would have to be a bylaw amendment that would take 3 readings?
So, Councillor Musker through the mayor, are you saying a bylaw amendment or add this to the existing public remuneration policy?
I'm suggesting we put it all under one bylaw that's for SDAB members.
Okay, so just so everybody's aware, do you want like a flat rate for the travel and expense then? Because right now, the policy relates to the travel and expense policy, which changes twice a year.
Councillor Musgrave.
Thank you, Mayor. That's true. Do we just want to let it ride for a bit and see how it goes? Counselor?
No.
Councillor Musgrave.
Thank you, Mayor. So every time the mileage changes, then we're going to have 3 readings to amend the bylaw.
So I foresee that we're not going to have a lot of SDAB hearings. This isn't nothing major. If we get one a year or 2 years, probably more, we've went years without any. Setting it at today's rate and leaving it there, I don't think it's something that we need to go back and revisit all the time because it's sort of one of those under the radar kind of things. And should all of a sudden there be a significant change in rates, yes, we can revisit it. But I don't foresee that being an issue whatsoever because of the amount of meetings SDAB has in the course of a term. So where I'm at is we put today's rate in and we leave it float at that rate, have one document versus 2, and streamline the red tape, the red tape reduction that we're going for. So combining a couple documents together. City of Edmonton, the one that we've got a copy of, does that. So
Anything further? Ms. Breeze.
Can I just get confirmation of the the rates that are in there?
So the rates that are in there right now are higher than some of the others. So I think we've already have them at a rate that is more than is fair. So the rates that you suggest, I think we leave those rates, and use today's rates for mileage, and put that in there as well. That's my suggestion. My fellow councillors may have a different opinion.
Councillor Stalker.
Thank you, Mayor Bonifast. I just had a question for Ms. Breeze about, are we forced to, if the mileage rate changes, are we forced to adjust it here? Or can we just say, no, we're fine with that? Let's say it goes up to 65 cents instead of 56. Can we just say, no, we're fine with leaving this specifically and not have that?
Mr. Gross.
Yeah, so in the bylaw, council would have 2 options. One, actually put in the mileage rate into the bylaw, and it would stay there until council would change the bylaw. Or you could say they'd be paid travel and subsistence in accordance to council's policy. So it's not quite getting everything under one, but it just refers to that existing policy.
Councillor Stalker.
Which one of those 2 approaches eliminates us bringing it back for 3 readings?
Having the bylaw refer to the travel and subsistence policy.
Okay.
Would that be sufficient, Councillor Shippold?
Yes, that could work for me. If this is a committee that met 17 times a year, I would have a whole different view on it. Sometimes it doesn't meet for years. So, that's where I'm at. If it was something that was happening often, I'd be all over it, but it doesn't happen often enough to, we've probably already given it too much time for how often it happens, so.
Would you like to make the motion then, Councillor?
I could make the motion. I may need some assistance from administration. I'll give it so let me look up at the motion that was suggested. No, I don't want that one. So I guess what I'm looking at is that we combine the present bylaw that we have for the SDAB and add to it a component relative to the remuneration and have the section regarding the mileage fees to be consistent with that of the policy of the town.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Our next item is 7.5, summer council meetings. Mr. Crows.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So in past conversations, council has mentioned that other municipalities take a summer break from council meetings. So we're just bringing this forward for council's discussion, if council wants to entertain that, or just to keep with our regular schedule of 2 council meetings per month.
Mr. Kraus, if we go down to the 1 council meeting per month there, will it negatively impact administration come September when we've only had the 1 meeting?
I don't think it would negatively impact us. I mean, I guess the risk of doing that, if something comes up and there's a whole month between meetings, we'd be asking you, Mayor, to call a special council meeting if it needs to be addressed, where typically if it's only 2 weeks apart, then typically items can wait. So that'd be the only, I would say, disadvantage.
Councillor Boniface.
I would like to see us continue the way we are. And then anyone who's taking time off and stuff, just excuse themselves from the meetings, because this council, we're working hard, and I really don't want to lose the momentum of things that are happening, and we need to get her done.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Musgrave.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a comment. I was really in favor of this until Councillor Boniface mentioned the momentum. So, yes, I thought this is a great idea. It frees up administration from preparing for a council meeting. Like, think of all that can get done. But a month between us meeting together is a long time. So, yeah, I'm in agreement. I'd like to leave things the way they are.
Councillor Shipple.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I was where Councillor Whisker was. I was sort of leaning, as many councils take 1 off, usually in August. I've been convinced otherwise here at the table today by Councillor Boniface. So thank you.
Okay. Well, any further discussion? Seeing none, Councillor Musgrave.
I'll make the motion, Mayor, if you don't mind. Be it resolved, the council accept the summer council meeting report for information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next item is correspondence for action, where there is none. Correspondence for information purposes. Does anybody have any concerns? Councillor Stalker.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. I think the Community Events Committee falls under that, the minutes, and I just wanted to make the public aware that Sunday, June 28th, from 11 to 3 is going to be the over at playing field, football field. There's going to be free hot dogs, free hamburgers, bouncy castle type stuff going on, all sorts of games. And last year, I think they were over 400. I think the community well over 400, and I think the community, we're getting a lot of rain now, so I'm hoping there will be no rain then, and all the kids come out and really enjoy that. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Councillor Shipple.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface, and to Councillor Boniface. And administration can let me know if this is the incorrect place to ask this question. In the Seniors Housing Council minutes of April 23rd, it says a resident complaint. And I guess my question is, do we have a lot of resident complaints? And what was the resident complaint? I don't know if you can tell us if it was about an individual, if that can be brought forward at open session or not. So,
The administration isn't privy to the Rocky Senior Housing Council matters, I guess. So if Councillor Boniface, being a board member, she may be able to answer you.
Councillor Boniface.
I'm not exactly sure of what you're referring to at this moment.
In the minutes, it made a comment about
Where are you, where are you? June
tenant
2nd.
complaint 4.2. The board letter was delivered. Tenant complaint 4.2. It is references tenant complaint. I guess Chris.
Is that, is that on the lodge or is it
This is
on
in-
Columbus Place?
That I don't know. It just under the minutes, 4.2. So it's tenant complaints. So I was just wondering if we get a lot of tenant complaints and or if what the tenant complaint was.
No, we don't get a lot of tenant complaints. There was some laundry room concerns in Columbus Place that has been on scheduling of laundry.
That's
And
roughly what it could be, yeah.
that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
Any further questions arising from the correspondence for information? May I have a motion to accept, please? Counselor Kayla.
I make a motion to accept correspondence for information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Next item is mayor and council reports. I think we've all been very busy this last month, but go ahead, Councilor Taylor.
Yeah, it was a busy month. You and I just participated in the strategic planning for FCSS. Had an opportunity to meet with a lot of community groups that see funding and partnerships with our FCSS program. So it was a action-packed day full of information. I was at my Community Futures group, and there is a conversation that I found a little bit alarming that I've been kind of reading into and kind of haven't sourced out all how it's going to affect people, but there has been an intent to cut 40,000 jobs federally by the current government. And I know that for the FCA or the Community Futures group, they saw some concerns with that, where there might be a possibility of like losing some offices and, you know, downsizing staffs. At the FCM conference that I participated in, there were some very interesting conversations being had about intergovernment relationships and staff harassment conversations about administration that I went to, put on by George Clough. And I did save some materials for you folks, and I forgot it in my truck when I came in. So if you remind me, some QR codes on that. But that's a small taste of some of the stuff that I was involved in this week, month.
Thank you. Councilor Shippold.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. Let me just sort of capture some of the things. So from June 1st on, did the seniors event at the arena. We did a tourism town hall at Pine Hills, which is well attended, which is very good. Toured the empty clinic building, had a look at it. It's clean, other than short, you know, typical small things. It was left in fairly good shape. And the Rib Fest weekend, the rodeo weekend, that happened. I survived that weekend. Then we had a recruitment and retention meeting at the hospital to find out what's going on. Construction's in full tilt at the hospital right now. So if you go in there and you look down the hallway into the acute care, you'll see all kinds of plastic and stuff going on. So that's in progress. There was a EDA business investment meeting at the arena. Unfortunately, I was only there for a couple of the hours, but the 2 hours I was there, I was very impressed with what was said. and the attendance from all over central Alberta, the people that were there, was pretty impressive. Went to the Mal Society barbecue on Saturday and the Rocky Learning Center year-end party yesterday. And so that was sort of where that was all at. So it's been busy.
Go ahead, Councillor Slow. Oh, Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. Last couple of weeks for me have been busy as well. I attended a lot of the same things Councillor Chappelle was at. I was at the Rocky Learning Center as well yesterday, not the same time you were there, near the end of the day. I went to my first West Central Stakeholders meeting. Very interesting. I'm looking forward to being a part of that. I had a chance to reconnect with an old Husky Energy colleague there. And I met with a counselor. I happened to sit next to a counselor from Lacombe County, Dana Creel. And she gave me an education on the Medicine River watershed. So it was very interesting. I also had an opportunity to speak with the reps from Paramount. So I think it's going to be a very valuable meeting place for us. Other than that, some of the same things. Walked in the rodeo parade. Just a point of interest, I don't know who was setting the pace for that parade, but it was a little fast for us who were on foot. And Councillor Sinclair and I got so far behind our float that we had to cut through the Good Sam parking lot in the bush to kind of catch up to it. So just keeping that in mind for future years, who's setting the pace for that.
Might have been a two-block gap.
It was about a 2-block gap. Yeah. So in the end, I ended up jumping on the Good Stody trailer because I was played out. So anyways, I had a good time though, and the weather was perfect.
Thank you. Councillor Stalker.
Thank you, Mayor Bonifest. I'd like to comment that the antibiotics are a great thing, and I was off for a while, and they, through the hospital system here, really took great care of me. Just top notch. Anybody that's complaining, you just have to stop for a minute and look. When you're down and out, they really help. With that said, I really wanted to comment on the Economic Development Alberta Business Investment and Attraction, which was held, Councillor Chappelle had mentioned it. It was by far the most dynamic training that I've had to this point. It was right on point about what communities need to do and what economic development within communities needs to do to get out in front of business opportunities and site selectors. There was quite a discussion about site selectors. The gentleman that put it on is with Lethbridge County, and the dynamics of what they're doing there, I am hoping we're heading in that direction. With that said, I know we are, because the very first thing that was identified that needs to happen so that you have economic development, people interested come in your community, was around your workforce strategy and getting things in place for housing. And that's exactly what this council had put as the number one priority, with looking at the northwest corner where we're developing there, over on the other property, trying to get other business communities south of the tracks. So I really sense that we have, we're headed in a really great direction, and a credit to administration to guide us in that direction, but also this council to envision what is going to happen and where we can get to. There was some great stuff that I'm hoping we'll discuss at I think we really need to have an economic forum, because what really struck me there is the ability for us as a town within our boundary to recognize significant economic development becomes really in hand with the county. And I think we need to have that kind of sit down, other than the sit down we have bi-weekly, I can't remember the committee. Sorry, ICC. Yes, thank you. I think we need to have that discussion outside to make sure we're on the same page with the county about data centers and other things that are possible within the boundaries. Certainly most of that major development. One of the things that was really pinpointed in my mind is that we certainly have a airport here, and when the defense contracts, I was given some information, that's an acronym, DEFSEC West, and it is all the defense contractors from across North America, Canada for certain, come to Calgary and are looking for support, and they just all end up in one place. And when we have that airport where it's at and underutilized to the extent that it is, I think that there may be something there. We also have a rail, if you're shipping out heavy equipment that's defense made, I think, but again, I think those facilities will be in the county, so we really need to work together and see what the county is open to helping provide a land base that we can do that. But it was, by far, it was an excellent, excellent seminar. Thank you.
Councillor Sinclair?
I just want to start off by congratulating all the grads that graduated on the past few weekends and such. It just doesn't seem like there's enough time for them to all graduate. It's busy, but I had the pleasure of being invited to a personal invite by some of my Northern Crossing friends that were graduating this year, so it was actually quite fun to be a part of that experience, and it was nice to see the future of our community advance into their next chapter of life. I had a blast on the parade. It was just so nice. The whole weekend with Rib Fest, the rodeo, grad, parade, like there was such a vibrating energy in our community that I just really want to recognize and thank everybody, all residents, everyone of Rocky Mountain House and anyone that visited. Thank you. It felt nice. It was good. So that's really all I have to add. Most of the other stuff is covered by everybody else.
Okay, good. Councillor Boniface?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm so glad that you guys had a great time on the weekend. While I'm slaving in conferences and I think the problem to the pace of the parade was due to the winter parade. We froze to death and we went, come on, speed it up, speed it up. So maybe we need to pass a resolution or something that there's a speed for the winter one and there's a speed for the summer one. I don't know. Do what you can, but no, I'm glad that you guys had such a good time. I had probably even better time. Being in Edmonton for FCM, that's all the municipalities across Canada came to Edmonton, and Edmonton pulled out all the stops. It was amazing. And getting tours all over the city to see their developments and how they have initiated low-cost housing and the rec center. I think my jaw was down to here for the whole trip. I'm just kind of looking at this rec center, and it was amazing. Edmonton's done a really, really good job on that. I also had library training on the weekend, and then we went for lunch at the Mel Society, so that was nice that I got a bunch of the towns, like we had some people from Yellowhead and our area, so there was like 20 people at the library thing, and we went for lunch at the Mel Society barbecue, so that was really fun. And lots of good information there too. And that's about it.
Okay. I will finish up. The economic workshop, as everybody stated, it was an extremely good event. I would echo your sentiments. That's probably the best training I've gotten yet. The Rib Fest was very well attended. I'd like to give a shout out to Michelle Meatheringham for organizing the event and all her crew that work with her. They did an amazing job. It's already been booked for next year, so we can look forward again to this. It was, for the first time coming out the gate, I think they did an amazing job, and they've already know what they have to do next year to make it even better. Just so everyone knows, by noon on Saturday, the fellow who owns the event, said they had already served 6,000 pounds of ribs by noon on Saturday. And they brought 2 reefer trucks, and by the time they left here, there wasn't a lot left in them. The guy doing the bloomin' onions had brought 750 pounds of onions, and he had 2 onions left on Sunday. So it was really well, and they were really good. I had the honor of doing the graduation speech at the high school, tour of the empty medical building. Last night was the women's shelter AGM. That was a really incredible event. And Cindy, the manager there, announced that she will be officially retiring at the end of the month. So we're going to miss her. The rodeo parade was just fantastic. We were fortunate that the Bighorn Council joined us on the float. They were extremely excited at the end of that. They had never, several of them had never ever been to the parade. So, including the chief, he had never been to the parade, so he was just tickled pink. And the only takeaway from that is next year we need a much larger trailer because it was packed, and chairs for people to sit down, because a lot of the older council, we took straw bales and made chairs out of them, but we got through. The seniors fair that happened at the rec center, I attended that. The baking contest judging, that was great. One suggestion for everyone listening: next year when you make Saskatoon pie, please put it in a disposable tin pie plate so the judge may take it home. And the FCFCS plan went very well, and we echoed one of our revered counselor's words, where we made it much more warm and fuzzy. So, okay, that's it. Is there anything further? No. Can I get a motion to accept, please? Councillor Kaling.
I'd like to make a motion to accept council reports and the mayor's report for information.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Thank you. Our next is our action list. Mr. Kraus.
For department reports.
Oh, pardon
Yep.
me, I jumped way ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. So the department reports are before council, and if council has any questions.
Councillor Shipple.
I have several. So let me just start. The property taxes were mailed out, and I guess the question is, can we send them out electronically versus mail, or does the MGA say you have to mail them out? I seen the lady unloading them out of her private vehicle at the post office, and there was bins and bins of tax notices going out in the mail. And I'm just wondering if, for those who have email addresses, can they get emailed, or what's the ruling on
No,
that?
you just have to sign up for it. Personally, mine is emailed.
So if you've signed up for utilities, it's not an automatic for the tax notice?
No, it has to be separate.
So we need to get behind that, I think, and have people aware of that, because I was not aware. I thought it was, mine, I got 2 emailed and 2 in the mail of my personal ones, and I'm going like, I'm not sure how that happens. So anyway, I'll just put that on the list for next year. Maybe we can not have a full back end of an SUV full of tax notices going in the mail. The parking lot at the, in the engineering and operations report, it talks about the parking lot at the pump park is ready for pavement. And Councillor Stalker indicated there was tracks in there. So I don't think the base compaction, I don't think is there to support asphalt. And so I question where that's at, because in the report here it says ready for asphalt. And I would question whether in fact it is or isn't. And so how do we go about double checking that?
I would have to ask Mr. LaFrance the status of that.
Sorry, can you repeat
The base for the parking lot by the pump track.
yeah, so we're working with
Get your exercise.
Sorry about that. So for the parking lot by the pump track, currently we have requested quotes from local pavement companies. We're just waiting on those quotes back for that base layer. There's two different companies that we're looking at that are in town for town paving jobs of other sorts or whatever. Those are the primary ones that we're hoping to get it. One is available a whole lot sooner than the other, so that might in fact on which ones we choose, because there is a desire to get that done sooner than later, but it is, one of the contractors, again, might be later in the year, so I don't have a date or anything else at this time for
The
council.
status of the sub base.
It'll need to be redressed and recompacted, because it's a little bit squishy, and, yeah, it needs to be dressed up. There's work to be done there. There's ruts and everything when you drive on it, so, and that'll be the responsibility of the paving company, because they're the ones who warranty that work, right? Because if the pavement fails, that's who we look to remedy it. So Border Paving or Lux or Central City or whatnot, they want to do their own prep and verify that the base is substantial before they do their work. They won't warranty any work on just random gravel thrown down. All the material is there and everything is ready for them to compact in place and do anything that they need to do.
Now, would we be paving before we install the new bathrooms, and would they have any effect?
So they shouldn't be conflicting. That's one of the things, depending on who the contractor is, but we're hoping to use that roadway, and where we're placing it, they shouldn't have to access or drive heavy equipment over that parking lot or anything else. They'll use the existing roadways,
Okay.
part of that. But yeah, we are aware of that complication, yeah. So
And are we still on track for getting the bathrooms in this season?
we are, yeah. Yeah. So we've gotten the contractors, we've gotten them come in, and they've got their proposals and everything else. So.
Thank you.
So to Mayor Bonif's point, that bathroom isn't listed anywhere in the reports anywhere that I could find, so I'm just wondering if, because usually in the report it has an update
Yeah.
on where it's at, and in this case, that bathroom isn't listed.
No, I think it is, Mayor. I think it's under the capital project list, because I think we've awarded it to Sureform or something.
Yeah, Proform.
Outdoor water, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so it's Proform, yeah, and they're providing the.
Okay. The Main Street planter. So we have asphalt on that, and back when that incident happened, we were told that it was gonna be in the $50,000 range for repair. And I see on the report here, it says $25,000 for repair. The question is, do we have insurance to cover that, or where's the insurance at on that, or is that straight out of the town coffer's pocket?
We're still working with insurance. That's our goal.
Okay, the person's insurance who ran into it, or the town insurance,
The
or,
person's our insurance company is working with the person's insurance company on
Okay.
this claim.
under legislation and protective services.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question for him about that.
The second bullet on the second page, under protective services, talks about lesser violation tickets can now increase car insurance. I couldn't figure out what that was trying to say, and I went through the reports that were there, because there's attachments to this report, and I'm just not sure in the report that was done by administration in there, it just says lesser violation tickets can now increase insurance. And I lost me there. I wasn't sure what that was all about, so I was just trying to figure out what that was. Now, to that, in the report, it talks about violation tickets and it says, so there's 25 violation tickets and 25 traffic warnings. What I'm wondering is, can we get something like maybe a 3 or 4 month graph indicating how many tickets were issued, how many warning tickets were issued, and how many verbal warnings were issued? I think the council here is thinking about where community policing is at, And just watching what's happening with community policing in terms of the amount of tickets issued, the amount of warnings issued, and the amount of verbal warnings issued would give us a good indicator as to what's happening with community policing and where our council's thinking community policing should be. Can we maybe get that? Is that possible to say a 3 or 4 month window? And then we can watch that over a period of time to see if it's going the direction we want it to be going. Lastly on my list, under planning and community development, one of the building permits was given was for a 14 wide by 70 long mobile home. So 14 wide is got age on it. 14 wides, I mean, typically now they're 18 and 20 wide and up to 24 wide mobile homes. Do we have in our bylaw anywhere where we have the age of a home that can come into our community?
No, no. And typically that's avoided in land use bylaws because it's looked at as discriminatory of an age of a place that you could put into a mobile home park. So the age is not there, but there are aesthetic requirements that we can make a mobile home upgrade if it was coming into a established area. It's been through the courts, so.
Strange. Because 14 wide would have significant age on it, unless it was a park model. But, yeah. Anyway, okay, that ends that. That's all I have on my list. Thank you, Mayor Boniface, for allowing me them questions.
No problem. Councillor Stucker.
Thank you, Mayor Boniface. And I apologize, Sean, that I may need to, I don't know if Mr. Kraus can answer this or yourself. Over at the pump park, there's about 8 piles of, almost looks like somebody took a wheelbarrow and dumped, Sean's coming for this. And in there, as I walked by there just by chance, there was metal, lots of mud, and I'm wondering if that was dumped there by us intentionally or somebody had actually dumped stuff there on us.
So that was the Bike Park Association. They did some cleanup work, and that's just from them raking up their materials and whatnot and cleaning up. They're gonna come by and pick that up. Yeah, so they just haven't, they got rained and they got busy. But no, they raked their site from their construction activities and all their mowings and everything else. They were just trying to keep the site clean, and then they raked it into piles and then didn't quite get to it in time. And then, so that's all part of their activities, just because they're not supposed to contaminate the gravel and everything else. So they're trying to keep it clean. So they raked it all up into piles, but then it rained and made a mess before they cleaned it up. So now they'll have to go back. Their volunteers are there and sort of redo that. But yeah, there's these little piles in the parking lot. They're just temporary. They're not, we didn't dump them. We don't have a dumping issue. It's not,
Okay,
but we're not concerned.
Because as I looked at them, I mean, the content to then compact that into the, wasn't gonna work. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Boniface.
Thank you, Mayor. I know this is maybe a little silly, but we've been getting a lot of comments about the No Mow May. And how much did it exactly save us? Yeah, I know that. Like, did it say? Do you? Josephine, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but if there's any value to it or any savings to you?
No, there's no savings. Our summer crew that would have been mowing were just reassigned to different tasks to catch up on.
Well,
So, so it's cost neutral.
perfect. Thank you.
At most it'd be gas, but yeah, not, and there's no substantial savings.
Yeah, but no expense.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. This is regarding for the Recreation and Community Services report. We get a lot of stats from different departments and things like that. Councillor Chappelle asked for stats regarding community policing. We get airport stats, we get pool stats, we get recs. I'm wondering if we can get disc golf stats from the UDisc app.
The answer to that is yes. I get a monthly report from the gentleman that set up UDisc for us. Actually have a file created in our recreation drive. I can easily put together, you know, monthly or quarterly, or however frequently you would like to see the stats. It's interesting to see year on, well, in this, just getting started with our first full year of our course, so, yeah. April, we had a short season. May, we saw a much larger increase. Some of the schools are in, and again, it's only recording those people that record their games on the app. But yeah, I mean, we do have some stats actually tells us where people are traveling from, whether they're within 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, or there's actually, in the last report, there was somebody recorded, they were from Belize that were in town and played. There is an event coming up later in June, the longest day of disc golf, where they, you know, trying to record all the disc golf games played across the world. And all you have to do is sign up, go play a game. If you don't have a disc, pop into guest services. You can borrow one of our discs or a set of discs and go play. We do know that the schools and members of the public are coming and borrowing our equipment to get out and try the sport. So I certainly can, in my next report, provide you an update on some of the stats for the disc golf.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ahmet. I'd appreciate that. We get stats on other rec uses, so, and I understand if somebody doesn't use the UDisc app, there's no way of tracking it, but this would give us a bit of an idea. The same with the airport, right? It's a voluntary thing when people use the airport, but it gives us a bit of an idea. If you could incorporate that in your monthly reports, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
I guess in the interim, if you want, I could circulate that to council even though outside, or I can save it to our next report.
Councillor Boniface.
Thank you, Mayor. I never thought I'd hear the words airport and disc golf in the same sentence being compared to but interesting. Is it, for registering on the app and stuff, is there postings like at the start of the trail, or how do they know to sign up?
Yes, at the start of the trail, or actually on each of the hole signs, there's a QR code that you can scan, and it'll take you straight to UDisc that you can, you know, sign up and register. And once you signed up, unfortunately, you get all the notifications and everything else that they come with it. But
Right. So then they would get the notification about the longest day, and maybe that
yeah, that would come as a
would come as a
notification.
notification
Yeah,
for them.
for anybody that signed up for
Is
UDisc.
that being printed or advertised anywhere else? Because that sounds quite intriguing, and we could be the UDisc golf champions for that day if we have one of the longest days that day, so it might be something fun to promote.
Actually, speaking to that, Councillor Boniface through the mayor, we have already posted that on our rec social media.
Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Mayor. Regarding the notifications, as with any app, you can turn that off, so you're not getting all these notifications, but thanks.
Any further questions from him?
I just have, going back to the pump track, and I don't know if Mr. Kraus can answer this for me. With the placement of the bathroom facilities, are we going, like, will we be considerate of where we place it so that it's easy access for those with mobility needs? Yes. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Any further questions concerning the operations reports, department reports? Seeing none, can I get a, Councillor Kalen?
I just wanted to follow up, backtrack to what Councillor Shipple asked. Is there a correlation between warnings and cost of insurance?
Yeah.
Did you get an answer on that question?
So,
Ms. Breeze?
thank you, Mayor. So, I think this question was the insurance, not, so a written or like a violation ticket, depending on the extent of it, but if you have a major violation, it could increase your insurance by 25%.
And that's in the report.
Yes. And then, of course, if you have a second violation, it could actually increase it by 50%. So it's just basically for the public awareness to say, yes, your driving skills or your lack of awareness of the speed zone could increase your insurance. That doesn't affect radar or anything like that, obviously.
So,
Counselor Shipple.
so to the question, Councilor Kenneth asked, warning tickets and, because warning tickets come on a violation ticket, what happens to a warning ticket in that situation?
So warning tickets are basically the bylaw tickets, so unless it's a provincial ticket, it needs to be a provincial ticket to affect.
So in the report, it calls warning violation tickets. So is that warning violation ticket considered a, if it's a warning, is it still a ticket through the insurance companies? I don't know, this may be a question that's, I think that's one of your, part of your question was, if you get a warning violation ticket, does that have an impact on insurance?
Only tickets that carry demerits would affect your insurance.
Anything further? Counselor Kay.
I'd like to make a motion to accept administration reports for information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Next is action list. Mr. Kraus.
Thank you, Mayor. So to go through the open items, a letter to the Alberta Japan Twin Municipalities Association. That letter is drafted and it's actually ready for your signature today, Mayor.
Okay.
The next one is the water and sewer issue with one of our residents. I have a meeting booked this week with that resident to resolve the issue. Architectural guidelines, our survey is out and closes, oh, I'm looking for an answer, but when does our survey close on the,
The end of this month.
yeah, okay,
Sorry, architectural guidelines?
yes.
Yes, end of this month.
Thank you. And then the last one is the MOU for recreation lands that has been signed by the mayor and myself and has been hand delivered to the landowner and we're just waiting for it to come back.
Thank you. Any questions arising from this report? Counselor Shipple.
I also make the motion that we accept the action list report.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Our next item is administrative inquiries. Do we have any administrative inquiries? Seeing none. Notice, Counselor Stalker.
Not an administrative requirement, and I apologize, Mayor Boniface. Wanted to mention when we were looking at reports, and I don't know if I can do that now, go back and just visit councillor reports. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I was hoping that my fellow councillors, as we drive around town and stuff, if you look around, there's lots of motorhomes with Dream Canada and those rental companies. And I've made a real point of stopping and talking to those people, and it has been just enlightening, and I would urge the other councillors to do that. I stopped and talked to, they were in the laundromats. I went in, oh, is that your unit out there? And they were from Germany, and this was their second time in 2 years they'd come through Rocky. And I asked them, oh, what brought you back here? And they said, oh, we just love the community. And it really gives you a feel of the tourist industry that's coming from abroad, not the local tourist industry, because these people are usually Europeans. And I just urge my fellow councillors, if you have the time and you see one of those Dream Canada units, and I can't remember what the other ones are, there's a number of ones that you can tell they're rental units, and the people, when you tell them, oh, I'm a town councillor here, they just light up and they want to hear about our community, and it really gave me some insight about why they were coming here. And I don't think it's lost on us, so that it's the West Country and just the remoteness of the, but it was interesting, these German people, this was the second time in 2 years, and this year they only had like 7 days, and they specifically came back here. So I think we're doing some stuff right there as well. Anyhow, thank you for that
Yeah, no, thank you.
consideration.
Thank you. Is there any notices of motion? Then before we go into closed session, I would like to call a 10-minute recess, please. Thank you, we're back. We need to go into closed session. Could I please have a motion? Counselor Shipple.
Also make the motion, we go into closed session.
Thank you very much. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we're back. We have a few motions coming out of closed session. Counselor Shipple first, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let it be, my first motion, be it resolved that council continue discussions with Clearwater County on exploring options for the future growth of the town of Rocky Mountain House.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Counselor Shipple.
My second motion, let it be resolved that council write a letter of support for Dr. Anwar Haq of the PCN for this application of forming a kickstand hub.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. Counselor Kalen.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to accept the CAO dialogue as information.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. That brings our meeting for today to a conclusion. Look after each other. Have a good day.